Two bros chilling in the hot tub.
You the twos and we the ones? Well, you are the biggest two of them all, my dog. That's what you are. You are a giant number two.
Bam Adebayo passed Kobe Bryant for the second most points in a single game with 83. He shot 20 for 43 from the field, 7 for 22 from 3, and 36 of 40 and made 36 of 43 free throws. He also had 9 rebounds and 3 assists, and I'm pretty sure a steal and a block. He is the only player to score 70 or more to shoot less than 50% from the field. What is your takeaway from this? Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Two Bros Podcast. As always, I'm Bryce, and I'm joined by...
I am Matt. If we are both a little less energy, it's very late. This is our second time recording this. You guys are not going to see the one we had to scrap, but it is very late for both of us. So,
well, me, not so much. It's 8 o'clock.
It's 11 for me.
Alrighty. So, we have a lot today because this was the first week of NFL free agency, so we're going to mostly talk NFL. But we're going to talk some NBA because last Friday, Jason Tatum made his return to the court, and he scored 15 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists while shooting 6 for 16 from the field in a 120-100 win over a returning Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks. What is your takeaway from this game?
I will say that was very impressive to me. 15, 12, and 7 in your first game back in 10 months. It's wild. Even as someone who really does not like the Celtics, I have to give him credit. I think the NBA is better when Tatum's playing, so I'm excited for him to be back.
You know my feelings on Jason Tatum. If you've ever had an actual conversation with me in person, you know that I don't really like Jason Tatum, and I don't think he's as good of a player as everybody says. But I can't deny that coming back 10 months after an ACL tear, or an Achilles tear, not being on a minutes restriction, and almost scoring a triple or almost getting a triple double in your first game back from an Achilles tear is absolutely impressive. Yes, he didn't shoot the ball well, but I feel like that will get better with time. It will.
I mean, you've seen the past few games, he has been more efficient. He still is not the most efficient player, but once again, 10 months back from his ACL being torn, you can't ask him to be shooting 19 for 21.
Really, asking any player to shoot 19 for 21 is ridiculous.
But, so, the second one is more fun for you, in my opinion.
I'm wearing my Luka shirt right now.
Of course he is.
Okay, so I just want to go on a little rant about Luka Doncic, and it's not Luka Doncic at all. I want to go on a rant with people like you and me who talk sports on social media. And mainly it is Player's Choice. Because Player's Choice, I have seen nothing but how Luka's not a top 5 player anymore. Luka may have peaked in year 6. Luka may be washed. You cannot be washed. Averaging 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists on a team that is in the playoffs in the Western Conference. Luka's missed time, yes, but LeBron has missed most of the season. LeBron has played, 20 games right now? He's played 20 games. He's averaging 21 points on 51% from the field. Yes, 51%, 21 points is good. But this is not the same LeBron James that won the Lakers the NBA championship back in 2020. This is not the same LeBron. LeBron is 41 now. LeBron is 41 years old now. And as much as I love LeBron, I think it's time for him to go. But if you look at the roster right now, the way it is constructed, Luka, top 5 player on the planet. LeBron, maybe still top 20 player on the planet. Austin Reeves, all-star caliber player for Austin Reeves. And then, who else is on this roster? DeAndre Ayton is making the Lakers a net negative team. He is atrocious. DeAndre Ayton is a bad NBA player right now. And I think everybody needs to look at Luka Doncic as a guy that is carrying a nothing team to a playoff bid right now. He is carrying them to a playoff. Yes, they are a top 3 seed in the West right now. Top 4 seed in the West, which in the Western Conference is hard to do. A top 4 seed in the Western Conference would get you a 1 or 2 seed in the East.
No, it wouldn't.
Yet most years,
48 and 18 right now, and the Celtics are 43 and 23. The Lakers are 41 and 25.
fine, if we had a top 3 seed in the East, it would get them a top 3 seed in the
43
East.
and 25.
My point is,
I agree with what you're saying.
we need to stop hating on big market superstars for not performing, or their teams not performing the way people expected them to perform before the season comes. Small market teams get all kinds of passes if their stars struggle, except with the exception of one, Nikola Jokic. The Thunder are having a struggle right now. The Thunder are not as good this year as they were last year. Everybody will point that out. SGA's missed time. Nobody blames SGA right now for the Thunder not being as good as they are. And I don't really blame it on SGA. SGA also, congratulations, 126 straight games of 20-plus points, past Will Chamberlain last night. Good job.
That's crazy.
But Giannis, right now, is getting all kinds of passes. Right now. Right now, for their team, they will not even make the play-in in the Eastern Conference. Right now. They are pretty much mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Nobody's blaming Giannis in the Bucks right now. Nobody's blaming Giannis. But the second Luka loses a game, all of a sudden Luka's washed. Make that make sense.
You can't. It's interesting because he had a 51 points, 51, 10, 9, 3 steals and a block last night. I mean, he's the whole reason they won that game.
Luka's had 2 50-point games this year.
And
2.
also, they have the Lakers have officially clinched a play-in.
They're going to, at worst, make the play-in.
They've clinched the postseason. They're set in that spot. I think it's interesting to watch as people kind of basically mark the Lakers as a first-round exit. I mean, I do think they probably are one, but they're a 10th or 11th seed without Luka right now. But the next thing we have is Tyrese Maxey has been diagnosed with a right pinky tendon injury and will be reevaluated in 3 weeks. There's about 5 weeks left of the season. If we look at where the Sixers are sitting right now, they are about let me see.
I think they're the 5th seed right now.
They are the 9th seed, and they are only 7.5 games above the Bucks.
There you go.
Now,
there you go, Milwaukee. You might make it because Tyrese Maxey.
I understand that we have about, what is it? They're 66 games, so there's 16 games left. But if you lose your star player for 3 weeks, it could spell the end of it. If you could potentially lose out. Let's take a look at what the Sixers' schedule looks like.
And any superstar missing any time is rough. Look at the Bucks earlier this year when Giannis missed time. We're
going to go over just their next 10 games, okay? The Nets, that's a win.
The
Trailblazers, I think that's a loss.
I think it's a loss too.
That's a loss.
That's a loss. Even with Tyrese Maxey,
that's
a win.
The Jazz, that's a win.
Win.
Here's where it starts to get hard. Thunder, loss.
Oh, they're getting blown out even with Maxey.
The Bulls,
they're going to win. They're going to win.
The Hornets.
That's a loss now. That's a loss.
That means you go 6-4 in your last 10. If Milwaukee
in your next 10.
Wins, in your next 10, if you go 6-4, or no, sorry, 4-6. 4-6, you're in a very bad spot. You're first off, I just don't foresee them making the playoffs. And honestly, part of me kind of looks at teams like the Jazz, who are sneaky, who could take a win.
No, the Jazz are trying to lose right now.
And if we extend past that, they have to face the Timberwolves, Spurs, Rockets, and Bucks, and Pistons before the end of the season.
Yeah, this is not.
I even think the Bucks, who are fighting their butts off, is a loss for them.
I don't know about that one. If Giannis is on the floor, I think it's a loss.
So I just think Tyrese Maxey being out for 3 weeks could end it for them. This could be the end of their season. And if they make the play-in, that's it. It'll be a play-in matchup. because they're not going to take out any of those play-in teams.
No, they're not. No.
They're surely not better than Charlotte right now.
No, absolutely not.
I don't even look at them as better than Atlanta.
No, absolutely not. No way in hell. But now Steph Curry, we talked about this two podcasts, 2 episodes ago, but Steph Curry will be reevaluated again in 10 days. Meaning, well, it's 9 days now, but meaning he will be missing almost a month straight now of basketball.
His earliest game he could come back for is the Warriors-Mavericks game on the 23rd. Realistically, with the injury he's having, we're looking at probably the second week of April, which is the Lakers. And
Second week of April, playoff time.
Sorry, the first week of April. I'm sorry. But this is another team who has a really tough schedule. Knicks, Celtics, Pistons, Hawks, Spurs, Nuggets, Cavs, Rockets, Lakers, and the Clippers. If you don't have Steph Curry, those are all losses. Oh, and sorry, I didn't even say the Hawks. They're in there. And the Mavericks, who look competitive.
Yeah, the Mavericks are still fighting for a playoff spot right now, or a play-in spot right now. But that's
just if you don't, and right now they're getting blown out by the Timberwolves. It's 69-48 right now.
I think even with Steph, they were going to lose that game.
Yes, but it's just like right now, Ant has 20 on them at half. Their leading scorer is Kristaps with 13.
Alrighty, speaking of scoring, Bam Adebayo passed Kobe Bryant for the second most points in a single game with 83. He shot 20 for 43 from the field, 7 for 22 from 3, and 36 of 40, and made 36 of 43 free throws. He also had 9 rebounds and 3 assists, and I'm pretty sure a steal and a block. He is the only player to score 70 or more to shoot less than 50% from the field. What is your takeaway from this?
We're going to have very different takeaways from this. No matter what, an 83-point game needs to be celebrated. I understand it's not, air quotes, right, ethical. I understand he took a lot of free throws. And yes, they're probably hacking you at the end of the game. Spoelstra said it himself. He's not going to apologize for anything. You need to look at how these games were played. Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, he was being triple-doubled and shot the ball anyways. His teammates were forcing the ball to him. Even in Kobe's 81-point game, he was being forced the ball. He was being double, triple-teamed, and he was shooting the ball. It is understandable, and it is okay to force yourself to score more. I think we're in this mindset of like, oh, if my team's gonna force me the ball, then it's not right. But like, when you get to that level, players admit that they see that number and they want to reach it. There was an interview with Donovan Mitchell a few years ago. They're like, hey, when you hit 70, what was your mind? He's like, I wanted to break 81. He didn't do it. There wasn't enough time, but he wanted to. Players see that and they want to do it. So I think we're sitting here like taking away from him and taking away from the team, first off, because he played the Wizards. Okay, they're still NBA players. These are still the best basketball players in the world.
I mean, every player that has scored 70 or more has played a bad team. Good defenses do not allow players to drop 60 plus.
83 up against the Thunder or the Rockets. That's just not going to happen.
Or the Spurs. You're not.
You're going to put up against the Kings, the Jazz, or the Wizards. That's just how it goes.
The Raptors.
And first off, if you put up 83 against the Thunder, I think people will be acting like it's 120 because that's crazy.
83 on the Thunder would be officially the greatest scoring game of all time.
So Stephen A. Smith and Ime Udoka and Kenny Smith's talk of it's just the Wizards is stupid because no one is going to score that much on a great defense. It's just realistic. Kobe put it up against a terrible Raptors defense.
The Raptors that I'm pretty sure won 26 games that year.
They were atrocious, and that's okay.
My thing is, yes, it is impressive. 83 points should not be discounted at all. I just hate the way it happened. Because this was a game that was a blowout. So let's be up. Bam Adebayo should not have been in the fourth quarter at all. They were up by 30 going in to the fourth quarter. He had 60-something going into the third. Let him sit. Don't risk
64 going into the fourth quarter.
Don't risk an injury for a player to try to score 19 I understand
that, but you have to think it's probably the player's decision. Bam, they probably asked Bam if he wanted to come out. I think it was his choice. You know he grew up idolizing Kobe, right?
Everybody did. Everybody did.
Kobe's one of his favorite players of all time. To him, he admitted that was honor to Kobe. He did that to honor him. And I'm sorry, you and I both know we watched enough basketball. Kobe would be impressed by it. He would be appreciating it.
He would.
Tweeted saying congratulations to Bam.
He would. But at the same time, I hate how it took him 42 minutes. Kobe did 81 in only 36.
I get it, but we also have to understand Kobe is a natural scorer.
My thing is, almost half of his points came from the free throw line. I'm pretty sure amongst 70-plus point scorers, that is by far the most field goal attempts by any 70-plus point scorer by a wide margin. Kobe got 81.
46 shots.
Yeah, but Kobe took 20 free throws. 20 free throws.
6 rebounds, 2 assists. He didn't bring much to the game. Bam, we can't compare these games because they're just two different players.
Yeah, but he will forever be compared to Kobe for passing.
We're going to talk about this, right? Bam had 83 on 43 shots. Yes, he had 43 free throws. I'll admit that. 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He also brought to the game on the defensive end. And I'm not saying Kobe didn't. I'm just saying Bam did what he does well and then also managed to score. Like, that's okay. You're right. This is an NBA record 43 attempts from the free throw line. I understand that. The game we play now is you hack a player to stop them. Hack a Shaq was a thing.
Here's my thing. Why did they wait to double team him?
Hitting him. That's all.
Here's my thing. Why did the Wizards wait until he had 70 to start actually playing legitimate defense?
Because they're a bad team. They're a bad team. Bryce, I went and watched a Wizards game this year.
I've seen the Wizards live.
No, this season, I have watched them play.
Oh, no.
They're so poorly run. It's like Jan Vesely was out there again. It was atrocious. I think they might have been better with Jan Vesely or Jan Mahinmi. It was that bad.
Jan Mahinmi would have played defense.
Anthony Bennett would have probably done better than what this team can do right now. This is a badly run team. So, yeah, of course, he's going to get 70. Then they're going to start to play defense because they're embarrassed.
Here's my thing. After they saw him score 31 in the fourth, or 31 in the first, to open the game, he had 31. Why did they not play defense after he had 31?
Coach. Look, I get it. It's not the most ethical game. 43 free throws is an NBA record. I was looking at it. No player has ever taken that many free throws.
You know what's the second most? You know what's the second most free throws made in the game? Dwight Howard.
That's wild. See,
because Dwight Howard had the record before.
Not expecting to get to the charity stripe that much. Him and Spo were like, why were they hitting? Why were they fouling me? They didn't understand it, but guess what? He's gonna be like, I don't want to take the free throws. I'm good. And yeah, You're right. They risked injury, but honestly, I think the Heat know they're not going anywhere this season, anyways. Get a record. This will go down. This will be in history. This will go down in history. I think.
My thing is, I don't think people will look at this as a top 5 scoring performance of all time.
You're probably right, but it is. No matter what, it is a top 5 scoring performance of all time.
I just think there's a lot of discourse. Like, yes, both things can be true. 83 is impressive, but it was a shameless way to get it.
My question for you is, should he have said no to scoring the ball?
No, but at the same time, we should not be...
What's more shameless, that or just giving up on your team and not playing?
I mean, here's my thing. Going into the fourth one game, Kobe had 62, and he said, I'm going to save my health. And then he finished with 62. Didn't play in the fourth quarter.
I understand that. But
if a scorer turned it down, Kobe turned it down...
This is a team that needs momentum. The Heat are a middling team. They are rough. They're struggling. This gave them momentum. This gave them something to fight for. First off, it was his first time having his girlfriend in the stadium, and his mom was there.
I kind of want to rant on the NBA for a second because...
We're going to have to keep it a little short because we're...
Why, if you're the NBA, you see this historic game going on, why do you not... The NBA's broadcast system is so weird. You mean to tell me that they're not going to put Bam Adebayo's 83-point game on national television?
Yeah, that kind of...
Whoever game was going on, 83 points, 83-point games have... 80-plus point games have happened 3 times in NBA history. 3.
Yeah.
Why not put it on Peacock, Amazon Prime, ESPN, something, so people can watch it?
You know what makes me laugh, though? These last 2 games for Bam were the first times he's had more than 10 free throws in the past month and a half.
I'm pretty sure. I don't even think he had 43 combined free throws over the last month.
He doesn't even average 10 free throws a game.
Alrighty, now we're going to move on to the NFL. Because free agency has been massive this week.
That's
how many?
5.6 free throws a game is what he averages.
He had 43 in one game. Okay, but now we're going to talk about the NFL because free agency opened this week, and boy, has it been crazy already. So we're going to talk about every signing for every team. We're going to mention it, and then we're going to talk about impactful signings for the impactful signing for every team. Well,
we didn't get a chance to talk about this. We are already 20 minutes in. We may have to go over the impactful signings only. Because we have 30 teams to go.
I know, but the casuals watching this podcast need to know names of players.
No, Bryce, the casuals don't. Because Bryce, casuals aren't watching our podcast.
You're right. They're watching sketch or something. I can't. Sketch. Mine's frozen, by the way. My Google Docs is.
Oh, no.
No, my Google Docs. My Google Docs.
All right, then I can start us out. So we're going with the Arizona Cardinals. Obviously, they're the first one to go over. They had a lot of signings. Let me see.
Yeah, they had a lot.
16 players signed. To me, the most important player they signed was Tyler Algier. I think you had a different opinion yesterday, though.
Hold on. Let me pull it up. I have my phone. But my most impactful signing, I had a question about the Tyler Algier signing, not because of a talent standpoint, because we know how good Tyler Algier is. My thing is, why would he do it if he's clearly good enough to be a number one running back when he's going to be splitting carries with now Zonovan Knight, Trey Benson, and also James Conner? I don't get it.
I am going to share my screen so they can see the signings. I'm going to share my screen of our Google Docs, and we're going to talk about the signings. We're going to talk about the important ones, and then they can see the signings. So, right here, we're looking at the Cardinals signings. Bryce took the took the liberty of writing all of them down. Bryce, go on about your opinion of the Algier signing, or Algier.
I think obviously Tyler Algier is great, and a lot of people were confused when the Falcons drafted Bijan Robinson because they had Tyler Algier. Now we see the Falcons are actually right about that. The Falcons made a right move for once. But I think my most impactful signing has to be Isaac Seumalo. This offensive line was, a guy of Isaac Seumalo is going to help keep whoever it is between Jacoby Brissett and Gardner Minshew up. Granted, Gardner Minshew is going to be the backup to start the year. I really think that we will see Gardner Minshew start at some point this year.
Well, I would say I like that because they did just lose a pretty solid lineman. I forget who it was.
I forget.
I mean, we're going to end up going over it because, he signed with the Chargers, but they lost a decent lineman. So I think it's Dalvin Tomlinson.
Yeah. He's a defensive tackle.
Yeah, as Rosa said. But they have lost some names. So I think for them to get Isaac Seumalo, I think you're right. He is an impactful one, but I still think Tyler Algier is a little bit more important. Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons. You guys can see the signings. We're going to spend about 30 seconds. Actually, I'm going to erase this because he was convicted.
Yeah.
We saw that as we were recording last night. You guys can see all these. In my opinion, Tua Tagovailoa is the most
worst signing by far.
But Bryce is a different opinion as well.
Worst signing in free agent history, I'll say that right now. My most impactful signing, I think, would be, obviously, I think Samson Ebukam now because of James Spears. I think that's the obvious answer. Next, we have the Baltimore Ravens. Because Tyler Huntley resigned, John Simpson signed, Maxx Crosby, the Maxx Crosby debacle.
I know you have a bit of an issue with the Maxx Crosby debacle, so if you want to go over that, you can.
Okay, so Ravens fans, come here for a second. Are you paying attention? I'm going to rant to you guys for a second. Two things can be true at the same time. You can support your team, but also know and also admit when they're being shady. The fact that they had Maxx Crosby at the facility while they were negotiating with a deal without Maxx Crosby knowing with Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson was also in the building. Nobody cared to acknowledge that. And yes, there's a Ravens fan out there. Oh, Adam Schefter tweeted. I don't care what Adam Schefter tweeted. Everybody else is saying that they had no plan on bringing both Maxx Crosby and Trey Hendrickson together. They had no cap space. It was not physically possible to bring both Maxx Crosby and Trey Hendrickson in on top of all the signings they had. John Simpson, $10 million a year. Most of their signings were cheap. Yes, they restructured Lamar Jackson's contract to save $40 million. But that was after Trey Hendrickson signed his contract. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. You did not think about restructuring Lamar Jackson's contract until Maxx Crosby was gone out of the building. Gone. Not even a Raven anymore. And I think the Ravens got cold feet that they were losing guys back and forth, left and right. They lost Tyler Linderbaum, Isaiah Likely. They lost Charlie Kolar to the Chargers. And they're like, oh, we don't have draft picks. Guess what? We need those draft picks back. So they made up a fake failed physical, and then all of a sudden they bring in Trey Hendrickson the next day. You don't find anything fishy about that? You don't?
I do.
Okay, Ravens fans.
Bills just signed somebody else. I'm pretty sure.
Did the Bills sign somebody else?
I'm pretty sure I saw something that the Bills signed somebody else.
Free agency's going nuts right now.
Maybe not.
I haven't seen anything, and I did the notes again 2 hours ago. But what is your most impactful signing?
I mean, it's clearly Trey Hendrickson.
He actually passed
the number one. He was the number one. What's it called?
Free agent.
Free agent for a reason. So it's clear as day, Trey Hendrickson.
I just think that everybody knew Maxx Crosby just had a major knee repair surgery. It's not a meniscus it's a full on repair. He tore his meniscus. So everybody knew his return to action would have been June or July. Everybody knew it. The Ravens knew it. So they are going to make a trade now or sign somebody who is 3 years older and has a more extensive injury history than Maxx Crosby and Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, I will say the sliminess of it is a fact. It kind of sucks to say, but the Ravens actually won this because they got their picks back, and we know the Ravens are a pretty good drafting team. So while you are frustrated with the Ravens getting their kind of winning this, but they did, and it's going to do nothing but hurt the Raiders, and if anything.
I mean, I don't know. They keep Maxx Crosby and first rounders, and then they have all this caps. They have all this talent now. So
yeah, they might not be able to afford all of them.
They are. They're honoring all the contracts.
Either way, I think that this is gonna hinder them for years to come. So to me, Trey Hendrickson was the best move.
Yeah, I unfortunately think Trey Hendrickson, Trey Hendrickson is the most impactful signing for the Ravens. The most impactful signing in general this year. Next, we're going to move on to the Buffalo Bills because the Bills haven't really done much in free agency. They did a lot. They brought a lot of guys back. They made a lot of trades. They traded a 2026 second for DJ Moore and a 2026 fifth. They traded Teron Johnson in a sixth to Vegas for a seventh. They signed Kyle Allen. But I think my most impactful signing, or re-signing in this case, would be Connor McGovern on a 4-year, $52 million deal. And I think this is looking like a steal considering what the best center on the market got. Doubled him and then some. What is your most impactful signing?
Oh, you know what? The Bills did make another move. They signed Geno Stone to a 1-year deal.
Oh, that's a good move.
It's not the most impactful, but he does replace Taylor Rapp. I knew I saw something about them. But to me, I actually have to agree. Connor McGovern is 100% the biggest move they made. I would also put a close second being D. Alford. I think this is a team that we know needed a lot of secondary help. So bringing in someone who is as solid as D. Alford, I think, is a very smart move. And then also to bolster your secondary even more by getting C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Geno Stone really makes this team look like they're a scary, scary competitor next year.
Now we're going to move on to the Panthers because the Panthers have been really active in free agency and they've made a lot of good moves. Dylan Phillips, 4 years, $120 with $80 million guaranteed. They signed, what's his name? Oh God, we're at Devin Lloyd for 3 years, 45 million, and then they made another move today that is actually really super impactful in Rasheed Walker for 1 year and 10 million. But I do think the low key steal for the Panthers this free agency it was John Mechie on a 1 year, $1.9 million deal. They are reuniting Bryce Young and John Mechie they won the title together. They won the Natty together when they were at Alabama, and I think you can say bye-bye to Xavier Legette getting any meaningful playing time because Bryce Young has his college.
Yeah, I will say with the combo of Tet, Jalen Coker, and John Mechie, I think this, you're right, spells the end of Xavier Legette. I think there is no better signing for them than Devin Lloyd, though. Devin Lloyd was the best linebacker
In the free agency.
and they got him for a steal. $15 million a year. I like Jalen Phillips. I think due to his injury history, is a small bit of an overpay. But you and I can both agree the market is always overpaying friendly. Teams are going to pay a little bit more than they should for players, seeing that Rasheed Walker got $10 million a year, even though he's been injured a lot. So for me, I'm going to go with Devin Lloyd being the biggest signing for them, the most impactful.
And I get it that people are so mad that Jalen Phillips got a big contract. Well, when he's as impactful as he is, you will deal with the potential injury risk when the player of his caliber is available. And free agency is the time to overpay. Everybody overpays during free agency. So, and it's not really the contract that matters, it's the guarantees that are more important because the guarantee is what they will be making. 100% of players will never make 100% of that contract. It's kind of like Taysom Hill a few years ago signing a 4-year, $120 million deal with $20 million guaranteed. People were freaking out that it was 120, but it was realistically like 20 to 25. Okay, the Chicago Bears were active during free agency. They traded a 2027 fifth to the Patriots for Garrett Bradbury after the surprise retirement of Drew Dahlman. But I do think that their most impactful signing has to be Devin Bush. We saw Devin Bush reinvent himself last year in Cleveland. And Cleveland is really hating the fact that they could not bring back Devin Bush. This is a guy who was probably their priority number one, Cleveland, and they could not bring him back. I do love this for them. It's a position, it's probably their biggest defensive position of need. And the fact that they got a guy like Devin Bush's caliber is amazing.
Yeah, that one was hard to watch as a Packer fan. I actually am going to say Jedrick Willis. This is an offensive line we have seen be outstanding last year. And I think to get a guy like Jedrick Willis as a depth piece is scary. He's not going to start just because of how talented this offensive line already is.
Yeah, they brought back
to know that he is going to be someone off your bench blows my mind because he should start for most teams he's on. So I think Jedrick Willis is probably their biggest signing.
Okay, the Bengals made 3 moves, but all of them have been super impactful, so it's hard to pick a.
I think for me, Jonathan Allen, he's a little on the older side, and I understand this is his now 3rd team, but Jonathan Allen is always a bit of a dominant force wherever he goes. And I as a Packers fan, I watched him last year with the Vikings. He's scary. He's a great player, and I think you can tell the impact you're going to get from him right away. So Jonathan Allen has to be the most impactful for me.
I think Boye Mafe I think that he's the most impactful because Trey Hendrickson, there are very few guys as good at rushing the passer as Trey Hendrickson is, just off of pure pass rushing. Because obviously Trey Hendrickson is a terrible run defender. But when it comes to Boye Mafe, this guy is kind of like Maxx Crosby light. This is where he's amazing at rushing the passer, but he can also be really scary in the run game too. And this is a guy who's going to automatically improve their defense, their defensive line. Jonathan Allen helps. Brian Cook helps. But this is going to be your key pass rusher for the future.
Especially after losing Trey Hendrickson. What makes me laugh about Boye Mafe is I believe he was traded mid-season, right?
No.
He was part of that Ravens-Chargers trade?
No, he was in Seattle. He was on Seattle last year.
I'm thinking about...
Odafe Oweh.
Odafe Oweh. But no, yeah. I agree. I think the Bengals did a great job bolstering their defense. The Browns had an interesting free agency so far as well. I think it could have been better, but not bad at all.
It's not
To
terrible.
me, I think Zion Johnson,
Yeah.
100% is their best move. When you lose Jedrick Willis and you lose just players with these
Jedrick Wills wasn't on the Browns. He wasn't on the NFL last year.
I know what I'm saying. When you lose out on talent like that, like, and then also to add Elgton Jenkins as well as a potential backup, I think Zion Johnson is just outstanding, and the contract they got him on blows my mind.
Yeah. 2 years, $24 million. I do think their most impactful is Quincy Williams. You talk about a guy who they're going to need to replace Devin Bush. That's a guy who can do it. Is he a little undersized? Yes. He's only like 5'10", but it doesn't matter. With a guy like with a thumper like Quincy Williams in the middle, that's what they needed. That's what Devin Bush was, and he's going to fill the Devin Bush role perfectly, if not a little better. Alrighty. Next we have...
I think may have had one of the best quiet free agencies.
Yeah. They traded for Rashawn Gary. Obviously, that would be the most impactful thing, but I'm counting just free agency signings. I have to say Jalen Thompson because they made a lot of impactful trades, but the biggest free agency signing they made is Jalen Thompson. Yes, Brandon Aubrey's tender is Brandon Aubrey, let's be honest, the Brandon Aubrey thing is the most impactful thing in the entire free agency. Getting a kicker like Brandon Aubrey, where he is seventh amongst receivers, or seventh amongst running backs, 5 amongst receivers, the number 1 scoring tight end, if he were any of those positions and he was putting up the points he was.
You know, I hate saying it. I think their best move is something that happened before free agency started. I think bringing back Javonte Williams on a contract they did, to me, I think getting a guy who proved himself again to you behind that offensive line. But if I have to go off of actual signings, I agree, Jalen Thompson. All right, on to the Denver Broncos, who really did not make a lot of
pretty
moves.
much only just re-signed everybody. Re-signed.
I said something different yesterday, but I'm actually going to switch up. And I think Alex Singleton, the re-signing of him is so impactful for this team. Alex Singleton he may not be the most talented player in defense, but he is a heart and soul kind of guy.
He is the heart and soul of that Broncos defense. That's what I said yesterday, and I'm going to keep saying it again, is Alex Singleton. Alex Singleton is very underrated, and Eagles fans know that to a T, because Eagles fans love Alex Singleton. We got them their first Super Bowl ever.
By the way, guys, we didn't make it this far yesterday.
No, we didn't. So we're going.
We lost out after the Broncos yesterday. The Detroit Lions. Oh my gosh, yo! If you guys knew what we dealt with yesterday.
Oh my God, crashed like 17 times.
Bryce lives in LA, and they are going through one of the craziest heat waves
It's
right
a
now.
heat wave right now out here.
So we were trying to record, and he kept crashing because his laptop was overheating. Now, luckily, it's in the 70s now for them because it's like in the evening.
And I moved my Mac away from my laptop because I have it sitting on my laptop.
Yeah, well, that also, why would you do that? So MacBooks, for people who don't know much about Macs, they need to have ventilation. The bottom of them, it's like fully. So I'll show you guys. I have a MacBook sitting right here. Look at the bottom of this. That is.
No, I can't see it right now.
Like you can see, the bottom of it is like fully metal. There's not much ventilation. It comes out of this little rim you have here, so you need to have that open. But sorry, that's me being an IT guy. Tech rant. Detroit Lions. What are we looking at here?
I don't know. They're
Had any great signings?
They really haven't. Isaiah Pacheco's. I think I like the Isaiah Pacheco signing. I think he's a younger David Montgomery. So I do like that. So now they have a 24-year-old Isaiah Pacheco and a 24-year-old Jahmyr Gibbs. So
I think Cade Mays. I think you got one of the better offensive linemen from Carolina. But they made a lot of moves.
Taylor Decker signed somewhere. Where did he sign?
They made a lot of moves, but they weren't great ones.
Maybe I put it on here, Taylor Decker. But who knows? Next, we're going to go to the Green Bay Packers because they've been active in the trade market, really.
Yeah, they made a lot of trades. To me, I think their best move was releasing Nate Hobbs. Sadly, he was a fantastic player when he was on the field and fully healthy, but he was always injured. None of their signings really blew me away. I think Javon Hargrave was great, but I think their best move was kind of addition by subtraction.
I'm actually going to go with Javon Hargrave. This is a guy who 2 years ago was the anchor for the Eagles' defensive line. And then he goes to San Francisco. San Francisco regrets it. And then he gets traded to Minnesota. And then he is solid for Minnesota, but they're going through a weird transitional period. So they're releasing everybody or restructuring everybody. But Javon Hargrave is a wrecker. He is a monster. He is a monster pass rusher. He's good in the run. I love this for a team that desperately needs run defense.
Yeah, I think the Zaire Franklin was very underrated. He is not the player he used to be, but he is still a very talented player. So I really like that pickup, and also to give up pretty much nothing for the guy, I have to respect. I appreciate. Bryce, we're going to move on to a team you hate.
Honestly, I don't know if this is me being biased, but I don't really love any of their moves.
To me, I think the Braden Smith deal. I think you have to bolster up that offensive line to help out C.J. Stroud. So getting a decent
Why do you have to say that?
Decent offensive tackle in Braden Smith. I also think Reed Blankenship is a player who's an interesting, fun guy. I think he was kind of made better by the team he was on, but I think he is a straight up a baller. So I think, but for me, Braden Smith is number one.
Braden Smith, you're dead to me. Don't show your face around me.
Now you know how Bengals fans feel about Trey Hendrickson. Bryce, if you had to pick a signing, that was the best for them.
For the Texans?
Yeah.
Probably. I think Ed Ingram resigning.
Like I said, he was a total animal for them last year. All right, now to move on to your.
What should have been Trey Hendrickson's team? It should be Trey Hendrickson.
Bryce, what is the best move for them?
I don't know. They haven't really done all that much. But they were also, I get it, because they were also expecting to sign Trey Hendrickson, so they didn't really do much. And then by the time Trey Hendrickson decided he wanted to screw the entire NFL, the elite key pass rushers were gone, and then they really brought back their key guys. They traded MPJ and a 7th to the Steelers for a 6th. They re-signed Daniel Jones for 2 years, $88, which could turn into $100 million. I think that's my most impactful signing is Alec Pierce. You get this guy. You keep this guy in the building. And Sauce Gardner said it perfectly that he would have locked Alec Pierce in his basement until he re-signed that contract.
Yeah, I like Alec Pierce. I think he's going to be a very good player for them. To me, a very underrated signing is Jonathan Owens.
Miles has been?
Every single team he's been on, he's been impactful for them.
Special
He
teamer?
was a Packer, he was a Bear, and he played very well. He had a massive play against Green Bay in the playoffs, knocking out a pass that was pretty much going to lead to a setup for a touchdown. So I think Jonathan Owens is a bit of a dog. You're going to get a guy who's going to fight hard. So I like them for a 1-year deal.
And plus he brings Simone Biles into the building.
Yeah, honestly, you got to be happy having Simone Biles.
Yeah.
All right, Jacksonville, one of the, in my opinion, the losers of the free agency.
No. I do like the Chris Rodriguez signing. I think that's the most impactful signing because they lost Travis Etienne. I figured it out. I figured it out. It's technically pronounced Achan, so we have 2 Achans in the league right now.
Well, I thought
3,
Devon
actually.
Sheen.
We have 3 Achans in the league actually, because Trevor, his brother, and then we have Travis, and then we have Devon Achan.
For people in the comments saying that's not how you say it, you're gonna tell someone how to say their own name.
Yeah, you're gonna
sit here and tell someone how to say their own name. Like, people were saying he doesn't know how to. Yes, he does. It's his name.
He does. It's his name.
I agree. Chris Rodriguez is probably the best. I don't look at him as a starting level. I think he's gonna be a backup to Tank Bigsby though.
Tank Bigsby's in Philadelphia.
He's a Jag, a Eagle. Why would you trade him and then not re-sign his backup?
They have Bashal Tutin. They have Bashal Tutin as their new number 1.
You trust Bashal Tutin?
Yes, I do actually. And then they have LaQuint Allen Jr. too, who's pretty good. So.
Speaking of teams who decided to add a running back on in free agency, the Kansas City Chiefs. Bryce, what is their most impactful move?
Seattle, go screw yourself for that. I do think it's Kenneth Walker. When you get a guy who is coming off of a reigning Super Bowl MVP to your team, it's going to be a major impact. And the fact that they didn't really spend that much money altogether on him for a guy who's only 26, they got him for 3 years, 43. And this is a guy who's going to be, yes, Daquan Thornton is impactful. Alohi Gilman is really impactful because they lost Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie to the Rams. But yes, I think Kenneth Walker's the obvious option.
Yeah, there's nothing else you can say about Kenneth Walker. All right, another team who made a lot of moves. Let's talk about these Raiders.
Oh, I do think
I have to go by addition by subtraction again. Getting anything of value from Geno, and I don't think that Geno Smith was bad. I think he got screwed over by the team he was on. But I think getting anything for Geno Smith, getting a 6 out of him, I like that a lot. And then also adding Teron Johnson, I think that's pretty impactful for them. We kind of knew they were going to be spenders once they traded Maxx Crosby. So these guys they grabbed all make sense. But the surprise to me was getting anything of value for Geno.
I think the biggest move is them keeping Maxx Crosby and having this team the way they are. But no, that's a cop out. I do think Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean is massive for them. Their linebacker core next year is going to be Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker. And then keep in mind they're also going to have Kwity Paye and Maxx Crosby as edge rushers. And they have Jalen Naylor as a receiver. They have Eric Stokes and Teron Johnson corner.
This team is going to be nuts.
They have Matt Gay.
What?
They're going to have Fernando Mendoza. They have Ashton Jeanty, Dante Gordon, Jack Bash.
We're going to hop into a team who's a rival of theirs, the Los Angeles Chargers. Bryce, for me, I think it's Tyler
Biadasz.
Biadasz. I mean, the guy was outstanding. He was really good last year. If not him, it's Alec Ingold.
Yeah, I think anytime that the worst offensive line in NFL history can improve, I think that's automatically impactful. So.
Even getting Cole Strange, who will benefit. Trevor Penning is a backup.
Yeah.
Also, another underrated move for them is Keaton Mitchell.
Keaton Mitchell's huge. Getting Keaton Mitchell's massive for them. Because didn't they let what's his name walk? Kamani Vidal?
Did they?
I think they let him walk. I think.
They might have let Vidal walk, yeah.
Or they re-signed him. I don't know. Who knows?
But they needed help. Right. The Los Angeles Rams, Bryce. We kind of talked about them a little bit earlier, but what do you think?
I do think it's Jalen Watson. Because Trent McDuffie's the obvious one, but I'm not talking trades. Although they did extend Trent McDuffie for 4 years, $124 million, making him the highest paid corner in NFL history. Jalen Watson is great because he is a lockdown guy who's not going to command the number one receiver, and plus they also get him away from the Chiefs. So,
yeah, they have the chance to do the funniest thing by signing L'Jarius Sneed now, and just have 3 former Chiefs.
That's right, the Titans released.
We're going to talk about one of the biggest moving teams in free agency in the Dolphins. I think a cop-out is Malik Willis here, but looking at these names, I don't see anyone else worthwhile.
I mean, I do like Greg Dulcich coming back. Tutu Atwell is going to make an impact. I do like Tutu Atwell. I think David Ajabo, if he can figure it out and become the pass rusher Baltimore wanted him to be when he was coming out of Texas Tech, I do think that's the big one for
him. I can see that. I just think for me, it was like, oh, we didn't want to cop out here with the Rams, but there's other players of value. It really feels like the only thing they did was bring Malik Willis.
And Malik Willis is a bit of a question mark, too. I get they didn't pay a lot of money for him, but this is a guy who started, 10 games in his entire career?
Oh, 100%. So, I'm not going to cop out and go with Kyler Murray. I think their best move was restructuring Aaron Jones. Getting some of that money back and also keeping him, I think you got to go with that.
I think it's keeping Eric Wilson around 3 years, 22 and a half. This is a guy who is one of the most underrated linebackers in the entire league. So, keeping him in the building.
All right, so on to Super Bowl losers. New England Patriots. I'm going to be biased. Romeo Doubs, as a Packers fan, I know what you're getting out of him, and man, is he good.
I mean, AVT Is it a little too much? Absolutely, because you don't know if you're getting a fully healthy AVT. But Elijah Vera Tucker is a guy who, when he's on the field, will protect the quarterback. Drake May, if AVT is healthy, will not see the grass. He will not.
I also think Kevin Byard, he was ridiculous for Chicago last year. And I think for them to steal Kevin Byard away is really impactful.
Talk about
Onto
that,
the
man.
New Orleans Saints. Bryce, I'm not going to lie. I think it's Caden Ellis.
Oh,
I don't know if I trust Travis Etienne Travis Etienne behind that offensive line, so I'm going with Caden Ellis.
I think David Edwards. They need an upgrade in the O-line, and the fact that they didn't give up, they didn't pay him that much. It's only $11 million a year for a starting offensive guard is pretty good. So if you're trying to keep Tyler Shuck upright, that's the way to do it. And you get him help with Travis Etienne, and you get Noah Fant. I love this for them.
All right, the New York Ravens.
The New York Ravens. That's pretty much what it is.
What? Honestly, I don't know. I really like it. I think Patrick Ricard. I think he is a really good player.
You said you don't really like any of these?
Besides Isaiah Likely, I think Patrick Ricard might be their best move.
Honestly, I think Calvin Austin might be the most impactful signing here. They didn't get him for that much, and Calvin Austin is a super deep threat. If he can rebound from his disastrous 2025 season, this is the steal for the Giants.
Man, do I have a bone to pick with Calvin Austin though? When I used to do sports betting, I had like a parlay. It was like a 15-leg parlay for the Bengals versus Steelers game. And I had Calvin Austin for over 30, and he had 27 yards. It was the only thing that didn't cash. I would have won $180.
How do you think I feel? He was one of my starting receivers in my dynasty league for most of the year.
By the way, also, Greg Newsome on a really cheap deal. Dude, great player if he can stay healthy. The New York Jets, Bryce. This was a team who I think had a fantastic offseason.
Yeah, they did. And I do think it's one of the first three that are on here between Joseph Asai, Demario Davis, or David Onyemata. What?
You're missing Minka.
Well, Minka is a trade. I'm counting just free agency moves. I think David Onyemata, because this is a guy who is going to solidify even the D-line even more. Now they're going to have Joseph Osai. They're going to have probably Arvel Risa too. And now they have Mozzie Smith and David Onyemata. Kingsley Enagbare is going to be an occasional pass rusher. I do love the Jets' free agency.
I think, without a shadow of a doubt, it's Nashawn Wright. You cannot be top 5 in interceptions, and one of the better zone corners in the league without being talked about. And if it's not him, it's Demario Davis. I mean, getting an anchor for your defense back is crazy.
And a guy who started with the Jets?
Yeah. Bryce, the Philadelphia Eagles. I think it's got to be Jonathan Jones. I mean, this team really just went for a lot of depth, and I think if you're talking about depth, bringing in a guy like Jonathan Jones makes a lot of sense.
Jonathan Jones in there twice, I realize that.
Yeah.
I think it's Tariq Woolen. Anytime you can get a guy who is that athletic and that good for a 1-year, $15 million deal, I think it's a steal.
He's so fast.
He's so fast, so athletic. Arnold Ebiketie is a good pickup, but I do think it's Tariq Woolen.
All right, another Pennsylvania team. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers here, Bryce. Who do you have?
I think it's Rico Dowdle, but Rico Dowdle, you need to calm the hell down on your social media. You need to calm the hell down. You are going to uncircle that Carolina Panthers game right now. We saw what happened the last time you did it to your old team that let you go for nothing. You ran for 250. You're going to take your marker and you're going to take an eraser and you're going to erase Carolina from your schedule. Don't even focus on that game.
For me, it's Jamel Dean. This team really needed help in the secondary, and you see they added a lot. Darnell Savage, Jaquan Brisker, and Jamel Dean. I think a guy like Jamel Dean's an anchor your corners, along with Joey Porter for a good amount of time.
I like SJD too. 2 years, $11 million. They didn't really need Sebastian Joseph Day. Their D line is stacked, but now it gets even better.
Yeah, this team, they made a lot of good moves. We'll just see what happens at quarterback. The San Francisco 49ers. I think we can cop out. Mike Evans, he's going to be so good for them.
I think he's going to be good. I do think Dre Greenlaw is the most impactful guy. We saw how important Dre Greenlaw was to their Super Bowl run 3 seasons ago. 3 seasons ago now. But he's back, and it's great for them.
He was the thing about him is he was the heart and soul of that team. Like we talked about Alex Singleton for the Broncos, he was the heart and soul of that team. And the guys on the team will even admit that. Like Fred Warner and Bosa have even said, like, hey, he was the guy who brought together.
And they lost the Super Bowl when Dre Greenlaw tore his Achilles on the opening drive. Running on him.
Who would you run with the Seahawks as their most impactful signing?
Surprisingly, I don't think it's Rashid Shaheed because everybody knows how impactful he is. I do think it's their new starting running back going into week 1, Emmanuel Wilson. Yeah, I do think. And the fact that they got it for $2.1 million.
Yeah, as a Packer fan, I'm going to tell you guys are getting a really good player out of him. He only reason he didn't thrive more is because he was behind Josh Jacobs. I like Josh Jobe, though, the re-signing of him. You saw how many studs they lost. So to get a guy like him back and a very impactful player, I think it's really important.
All right.
The most boring free agencies we can talk about is the Buccaneers.
Yeah, 3 things altogether. At least the Broncos had 5. And at least the Bengals had 3, but all of them were super impactful. Alex Anzalone, for me.
I think with how Cade Otton, how much they've lost on their offense, I think Cade Otton makes a lot of sense. Getting a guy back who really meshes well with your quarterback, for me, but I can also see Alex Anzalone.
I like Alex Anzalone because there's a lot of question marks on Levante David on if he'll play again. And if he does, if he retires, I do think Alex Anzalone is going to step in and he's going to be the leader of this defense.
I just like knowing that what's his name? He's not for the Lions anymore. And the Tennessee Titans were busy.
The last 2 teams.
What do you think was the biggest move for the Tennessee Titans?
My goodness, what do I think?
They made a lot of moves.
I think they made a lot of impactful signings between Wan'Dale Robinson, John Franklin Myers, Alontae Taylor, Cordell Flott. I do think Alontae Taylor is their most impactful signing, mainly because it gets him out of New Orleans. But it comes into the other team that I'm a fan of. It affects the other team that I'm a fan of. But I can't deny how great of a ball hawking corner Alontae Taylor is, and then they get another corner who is going to be their lockdown in Cordell Flott. This is going to be the no-fly zone in Tennessee.
And this defense was already really good.
Yeah, this defense was not the problem.
But for me, it's got to be John Franklin Myers. To get an absolute animal on the
he's going to be on the D line along with Jeffrey Simmons.
I was going to say this you're not going to run or pass on this team. They're going to lock you down. The only question is offense. And guess what? They added Wan'Dale Robinson. They added Daniel Bellinger. They added some guys who can help, and Mitch Trubisky to help teach Cam Ward. I really, if I were you, I'd be a little worried about this team.
I already said I was when they got Robert Saleh and then Brian Daboll. And then they do all this.
So actually interesting because we're about to read the last one. I also really want to highlight the Daniel Bellinger signing because of the final signing for the Commanders.
Yeah. Next, the final team we're going to talk about is the Washington Commanders. And for me, I think... Oh, you missed some, actually.
Yeah,
There's some more down there.
There's some more.
I hate that Nick Cross left the Colts. I'm just glad. If he was going to leave the Colts, I'm glad he didn't stay in the AFC South. But I think the most impactful move for them is probably Caleb on Chason because, well, he's my X factor. I don't know if he's my most impactful. I do think my most impactful is the Chiggs Okonkwo, mainly because he gets out of the AFC South. But I do think that he is going to be Zach Ertz and then more. Chiggs is athletic. He's great at catching the ball, and he's undersized, but it doesn't really matter. The Titans love their undersized tight ends. Look at Delaney Walker. I do think that that's the super impactful one. Obviously, Odafe Owe, there's a lot of questions with him, but he's still super talented. Leo Chenal is going to be amazing for them. Rashad White's going to be good. Caleb Unchason, but I do think the Nick Cross is going to be great. Charles Menahue, I do think Chiggs is the most impactful signing.
I love their signings, but I think one thing we have to remember is their quarterback has a really rough injury history. And to bring back your backup quarterback who you know can run your offense, I think is the most impactful signing. Sadly, we live in a world where we understand Jaden Daniels is probably going to miss at least 2 games.
I don't think so.
I hope he doesn't. The NFL is better when Jaden Daniels is healthy and playing. But to bring back a guy who knows your offense like that, and also to bring him Rashad White, and also, you're right, Van Jefferson, and then Chiggs Okonkwo, yeah, I think the biggest move is to bring back Marcus Mariota.
Did you see that the NFL wants to do a Thanksgiving Eve game?
So stupid. So
why?
The NFL is too oversaturated right now. There's way too much football going on. Like at this point, like right now is perfect because I miss football. But at some point it gets boring. Like by week 12 or week 13, there's sometimes I don't even watch. So like, yes, it feels like crazy to say it right now, but I do really think there's too much football sometimes.
If they do it, that week we will have the Monday Night Football game, we will have Thanksgiving Eve, we will have 3 Thanksgiving games, we will have 2 Black Friday games, and then I'm pretty sure the Saturday games start either that week or the week after, and then we have Sunday. So we're going to have 5 of the 7 days of NFL that week, of NFL football.
Do you remember the Black Friday game? Because it was pretty bad. That Bears-Eagles game was rough.
It was rough. It was terrible.
It was hard to watch. And I think that we recognize that even the Black Friday games just weren't that fun. And also, most people are traveling on Black Friday. This year on Black Friday, I was driving to New Jersey.
The Wednesday game, people are going to be traveling too.
Yeah, of course, you have to keep the what's it called?
Thanksgiving games. That's fine.
But Thanksgiving Eve, everyone's traveling on that Wednesday and that Friday.
Nobody cares. Nobody's going to watch Wednesday football.
I was driving to New Jersey on Black Friday last year. I only kept track of the game when I was out shopping.
Yeah.
But
that's going to do it.
This is our longest podcast we've ever done.
This has been our longest podcast.
Riverside has been fun for us because we can actually go and we can talk.
Uh-huh.
And you guys are getting cooler.
We obviously don't go on super tangents, but it was nice to be able to talk more and not feel time constraint with what we were trying to say and not have to split it up into 2 podcasts. We can actually make it in 1 now.
One cool thing I want to talk about is because I got this new laptop, I was able to download OBS and I can stream on the YouTube channel. So when big events happen, you're not going to get Bryce and I just sitting and talking like it was before on like our phones. We're going to have our laptops. We're going to be doing that through there, and the stream will be going through, and we're going to be able to react to stuff in live moments. But because this is our longest podcast and it's officially midnight for me, we're going to let you guys go. Let us know what you thought of the list. Let us know who you had the best and the worst for agency. Let us know if you like us. Let us know if you hate us. We just want to hear from you.
Yeah. But if you guys liked it, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.